Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough. But getting back up makes you tougher. At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen. Verse.
What up?
Everybody.
Dog.
I'm David Dowd.
And on the cool check-in. Center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
That is so cold.
We're Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
We're back. Jalen Rose in the building.
Yes, indeed.
David Jacoby in the building.
Shouldn't have never left.
Reggie on the ones and twos.
Without a dope pod, step 2.
So we said we were going to have 5 pod this week, and then we didn't have one yesterday.
Where's LL? Is he available?
We said we were going to have 5 pod this week. We didn't have one yesterday. But you know what? Anyone that listens to this podcast understands that this is a Pop the Trunk production. Things happen.
You talking to people that's been here 7.5 years.
Yeah, like they know.
We got a lot of people that just joined since we sold out and started being on TV in the afternoon.
Yeah.
They're like, wait a minute. Normal podcasts happen Monday through Friday. But I got some good news for you.
What's that?
We've been cooking on something. We've been working really hard.
We have?
And I haven't been a part of that hard work.
Wait. Hit the brakes, Reggie. We haven't been working that hard.
I wasn't talking about you or me.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about the staff of Jalen and Jacoby.
Staff's been working hard.
We made some changes. We added some staff. We got some new surprises for people that just learning for the first time at 2 p.m. every day on ESPN2. You can actually watch the second most handsome duo in the industry. Who's first?
Tony and Mike.
From not only a 30-minute perspective, that ain't enough.
Nope.
We're an hour now.
Good
from 2 to 3, ESPN2. We might have to get Jay to remix 22 twos. 2 o'clock, ESPN2.
Jay's not taking our phone calls. Nope. Have you seen him lately? Hair grown out, belly grown out, on the tour.
I got to tell you a secret.
What's that?
1, he's married to Beyonce.
Uh-huh.
You didn't know.
I did.
Okay. Number 2, he might not be taking y'all calls, but he's taking mine.
Oh, he's taking your calls?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you,
So
Jalen.
I just had to divulge
Sometimes I forget how famous you are.
that little information.
Good for you,
And I'm
Jalen
Team
Rose.
Rock.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember I was looking up research for the show. You know, I don't like to do a lot of research. I was looking for the show. I was like, who's on Rock Nation's roster? And I was scrolling down their list of clients, and I saw a familiar face, Jalen Rose there.
Well, here's what's not pictured.
Do they pay you or do you pay them?
No, here's what's
Or is it just a handshake?
Here's what's not pictured. They already got me a fly Puma deal. Bought that life. Don't sleep.
Oh, yeah.
What's not pictured on that list is Molly, Karen Rose, and David Jacoby. Because they represent me, they represent y'all too.
Of course.
That's how this works.
I saw Molly in the Puma today.
Okay.
She got new Pumas.
You
I don't
next.
even think they're out yet.
You next.
I don't even think they're out yet. You did get me some Pumas, but you paid for them.
No, we bought that life now.
Sure. I'm with it. You know, because you know that I love my Nikes and I love my Adidas. But I've noticed that it seems like everyone exclusively wears Nike and Adidas. So I've tried to branch out with my Diodoras,
Too
my
easy.
Ponies,
No doubt.
and my Pumas. I'm trying to think like, what did I wear when I was 10? Because when I was 10, there was a myriad of different sneaker brands that you could rock. It would just seem like there was like 15 and they were all equal. Like Fila was just as equal as Nike.
And I just had this argument with Stephen A. Smith on Get Up the other day. People now think they're crisp based on a look, not on the fashion of the outfit. And here's what I mean. Just because you got on the blazer, a shirt, and a tie, that don't mean you clean. Just because you got on a pair of Jordans, that don't mean your look is fresh. And so what has happened is people think they could get one of those items, like, oh, I'm rocking a tie. Or, oh, I'm rocking some Jordans, so now I'm clean. And so that's why people like you're like, wait a minute, I got to show my flavor a little more. I got to rock some Diodors. I got to rock some Fila. I got to go deeper into the box score.
Because it used to be, I want to wear sneakers that no one else has. And you could do that because you went to a certain store or you're in a certain region of the country. You know what I mean? But now it just seems like, it's so accessible. Everything's so accessible to everybody that even if something is exclusive, anyone can just get it on the internet. So now you just have to use your brain and not your feet to get the shoes that other people don't have.
And also, speaking of corporations, I have to give a big shout to a couple of terrific supporters of the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. One, Jeep.
Shout out.
If I was to get a tattoo on my backside, it would be a Jeep logo. They have been so very supportive of the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy since day one. And not only financially, but exposures.
That's Chrysler too, and I had the Chrysler minivan. I love the Pacifica.
And I love organic relationships. For those that don't know, my mother worked as a key puncher at Chrysler over 15 years. So I grew up appreciating the fact that that's how food was on the table. Now come full circle. Kim Adams' house, I love you. I appreciate you and the Jeep brand, all of the support they've given. Number 2, Dick's Sporting Goods. When you see me out shopping for socks or looking for some stuff, guess where I'm going to be now? I'm going to Dick's because they support the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. So I just had to get that out there because we're talking about Nike, who I was trying to do something with for 25 years. And they did send me a couple of boxes of gear. Shout out to my brother Nico. It's all love.
Nice.
But Puma stepped up, and now they're a legitimate sponsor of the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy as well.
Great.
And when you're a tuition-free public charter high school that gets zero state funding for athletics, zero state funding for college success, zero state funding for your facility, it's imperative that you fundraise and you have dedicated corporate sponsors like those. So I'm forever grateful to Jeep, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Puma.
It's Wednesday. What does that mean, Jalen?
Hey, ladies!
So I'm going to take everybody behind the curtain. Usually I say to Reg, do we have any voicemails? Because, usually we say, hey, it's Wednesday, ladies call in. So I'm just going to blind assume that some of our female supporters called in and left us a voicemail just like this one.
What up, family? It's your boy Kobe, calling from New York. First things first, shout out to Harlan. Congratulations on the wedding. All the best for you and your wife. Shout out to Reg. First things first, Jalen and Jacoby. Streets missing you. My commutes ain't been the same, man. Glad y'all back on. All right, I got a soft move, boss move question. As men that are now employers who hire people constantly, but have also been employees, I'm curious to know, embellishing your credentials during a job interview. Now, I'm not saying lying, because lying is always a soft move, but embellishing. A little bit extra, some of your past experiences or things that you've done in previous employers. Is that a soft move or a boss move? All right, family, hope to hear from y'all soon. Stay up.
This is a great question. Anyone. So you've never put together a resume in your life, have you? No. In your life.
You underestimate me.
You've never put together a resume.
You underestimate me.
What, you did a LinkedIn profile?
No. Fam, I've had multiple jobs.
Yeah, but you don't have to put together a resume.
Even to do this multimedia thing where you're a former athlete, you have to show your value by the things that you've done in the industry. Mm-hmm. So before I got hired by ESPN in 2007, I had to show them a litany of things I did in the media from 2002 to 2006 while I was playing in the league.
In a resume format with your name at the top?
100%, yes.
There.
Yes.
You did it yourself in a Word document?
I gather the information. It's like writing a book. The story doesn't happen without me. But at the same time, I did use professional assistants to compile it so I can actually get hired.
Shout out to Aaron Cohen, who I saw at a basketball game recently.
No doubt. My guy.
Okay, well, let's get back to his question. Soft move or boss move, embellishing. This is layered. I can't just go out and say soft move or boss move. Lying is definitely a soft move. You never want something on your resume that's not factual. Now, if you contributed to a project, but you used a different word, sort of like, it's really the words. It's really the words that you use. You know, you don't want to say like assisted. You want to say led a team that worked on blank, or part of the group that created blank, when really you're just getting coffees. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to lie, but you can use language to make it seem like you were more important than you were.
David.
Yep.
I'm going to teach you the definition of a word. Everything you just described, that's what embellishing is.
Yeah.
So let me finish. So it's a boss move. No ifs, ands, no buts, or suppose. That's a boss move. And you know what else is a boss move? To get hired.
Yes.
So I'm going to push the envelope as far as possible. I'm going to go as close to the edge as I need to in order to get the job.
Yes. And also use the thesaurus, because it's got to sound good, and it's got to look good. Another thing is, here's a piece of advice for doing interests, right? And write something crazy in there. Like, I used to read Sigmund Freud. I was interested in Sigmund Freud. So I would put that into my resume. Interest, Sigmund Freud. I would get asked about that every single time. So you kind of throw some curveballs in there for the conversation. Because as someone who has done a lot of job interviews, looked at resumes, you kind of fill time a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just like, sometimes you just got to like look down and just come up with a conversation topic. So throw something crazy in there.
And as the founder of a charter high school since 2011, guess what I look at a lot of? Resumes.
Mm-hmm.
From school leaders to staff. And so that level of embellishment takes place. That's why it's important to follow up on the actual people that they use as references. Yep,
you have to follow up. And another thing is, don't lie about anything except your GPA. No one's getting the transcripts from the college. No one's going back to your college and getting the transcripts and fact-checking that. My GPA is a straight-up lie on my resume. It says I got a 3.8. I got a 3.18.
A couple of things that you mentioned that's really important. One, for everybody out there in high school, and you're trying to figure, A, am I going to have the funds to pay for college? And or B, should I take out a loan to do so? Or C, I'm not really ready for whatever reason my freshman year to go to a college or a university. It could be location. Mm-hmm. It could be you just want a more personal experience your first couple of years. People don't ask you, where did you go your first 3 years of college? They ask you, where did you graduate
from? Yeah, exactly.
Always remember that. They ask you, where did you graduate from? So if you decide to go to community college for 1 or 2 years, that's perfectly fine.
That's fine. Just do good. Just knock those years out. Do a good job. Transfer somewhere else. One thing I look for also, you don't want to have big time gaps in your resume. That's one thing I'll always look at. Be like, wait a second. What'd you do between 2013 and 2015? Like, there's nothing there. It's just a gap. What were you doing? Playing video games? It's like, come on now.
Here's another thing.
You gotta come up with something.
But here's another
Worked
thing.
in the community. Something.
And you see it play out in sports a lot, but it's more advice that I want to give everybody out there for social media. Use that platform as your resume, your Facebook account, your IG account, your Twitter account.
Every employer
That's
is
your
looking
resume.
at that. Every employer is looking at that, so don't talk crazy. Don't upload pictures of yourself smoking weed because your potential employer is going to see that and say, I'm not going to hire this person.
Or retweeting, i.e. supporting outlandish things that other people do.
It's a great point. Let's give the people what they want.
Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough. But getting back up makes you tougher. At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
Jalen, it's about to get socially awkward. Desmond.
Des.
Mr. Bryant.
88.
Mr. Bryant, Let me explain. Des Bryant's been very active on Twitter lately. He's basically live tweeting the Cowboys game. And then he's pitching himself to the Patriots, talking about how he would fit in there. He's been very active on Twitter. And he tweeted, let's take a look at one of his recent tweets. He tweeted, the problem was my ex-teammates respected me more than the coaches. And then he responded to that from his own account. I can see that. Now, if you look at this and you understand how Twitter works, it certainly looks like he meant to put the I can see that response from a burner account to make it seem like people out there were supporting him. Do I know fact? It just seems really odd that he would use his own account to say I can see that. Why would Des Bryant use a burner account?
I wrote a public service announcement for this.
You prepared for the show?
I did. What? And here's what it says.
Okay.
Hopefully the discussion around Des Bryant's Twitter burner account would have taught all of us a bit of a life lesson.
Oh, okay.
Your critics can only affect you as much as you let them. Use social media as a tool for you. Don't let it put a value on you. And the reason why I wanted to digest that is I embrace social media. I'm not one of those don't get off my lawn type of things. But at the same time, it has to be a part of your day, not all of your day. And sometimes your critics are right. So those two things are going to always be a balancing act for a public figure, for a celebrity, for an athlete that's currently playing for who?
Nobody.
Okay. So when the Patriots signed a couple of wide receivers, they didn't bring him in.
Nope.
Washington signed a couple of receivers, didn't bring him in.
Browns worked him out.
Didn't sign him. So now all of a sudden you're suppressing your market to the point where I now feel, by the way, he could help my Detroit Lions.
Oh, for sure.
Did anybody see them play football on Monday?
Yes.
Okay. Matthew Stafford can use him. Mm-hmm. I want him to be on our team. But when you have these Twitter fingers, the people that are coaches, the people that are in front office, they start saying, wait a minute. Not only is he a distraction and he's not on the team, how would he be if we brought him into the locker room? And so I now think, based on this and a couple of things that have transpired, unless there's a catastrophic injury, because when Marquise Lee got hurt in the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was like, that might be a landing spot. Not going to be able to do it.
For me, the burner account thing is odd because what difference does he think that one tweet is going to make? Like he says, oh, my teammates respected me and the coaches didn't. That was the problem. Does he think that that one tweet as a reply underneath that tweet is going to change the public perception? Is going to change the story of Des Bryant in the offseason? It's not. It's not going to have an effect. So why even bother?
It's not going to have an effect, but it creates an adversary toward the conversation. And I don't promote this behavior in any way, shape, or form. But here's why I think people do it.
Why?
Here's why I think people do it.
Tell me, therapist.
Because
Jalen.
there are people in this industry, sports, entertainment, television, that go to social media and think that's an actual barometer of what's hot and what's not.
Yes. You have to understand.
And you can sway that by, okay, I got 50 people that's going to tweet that I'm doing a great job. Or I can have, if I'm another brand, say I'm Puma and I'm putting out a shoe. If I'm a competitor, I can put out 100 different tweets that say the shoe stinks. Mm-hmm. And they're going to actually be people that work in journalism, okay, to get paid to do this.
Something.
They're going to put this in their articles. Like, a lot of people didn't like it. Look at these tweets.
And also, I have seen executives at media companies looking at Twitter, doing searches, and using that as a decision-making variable in the equation of decisions that they make. Like, Twitter can change industries. It could make Puma not put out that shoe. Just everybody across the board needs to understand, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's 2% of the people that are active on Twitter. The other 98%, those are the ones that matter.
And also, it becomes lazy for the person that's hiring or firing, the person that's trying to get a heat check of what the public think. But the more important thing, we're talking about Des Bryant, who I think still can be a productive football player.
He'll play football professionally.
But at some point, Jacoby, when the options start to dry up, I don't think there's a spot for him based on these scenarios.
See.
I would hate to think that last year was his final one.
Well, someone who's doing a lot of hiring and firing is Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau is in his comfort zone. He's comfy right now. He's in Minnesota. He's the coach. He's the GM. He's like, you know what I want? I want my old guys back. So not only does he have Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson from the Bulls, they go ahead and they bring in Derrick Rose. And then they bring in Lil Dang. Jalen, what is Tom Thibodeau doing?
Normally this happens in music, and I support when all of a sudden it's BBD. Then it's New Edition, and then they add Johnny Gill, and then Bobby returns, and then Ralph returns, and then there's supergroup on tour.
It's ABC.
I love it. I love when the Jackson 5s were Michael and Janet, and then everybody get back together. That works great in music.
It works good in music.
Let me tell you where it doesn't work, sports.
Yeah.
It does not work in sports. You look back at every guy that was a head coach or a leader that felt, I'm bringing my guys with me. Mm-hmm. When they got a new gig, doesn't end so well. Mm-hmm. And so I know where Tibbs is trying to go with this. I need a level of autonomy and trust in the locker room.
Yep.
Which can now be productive for two of my stars, Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins, who are just getting to know me.
Yep.
And so these almost become different voices that echo a level of support for what I'm trying to get accomplished, and turning Minnesota into a team that could be a legitimate top 4 team in the West based on the level of having 2 All-Stars. Wiggins is a max player in the Western Conference.
So this has me thinking. There's a trend here. All the former Bulls are coming to Minnesota. So let's take a look at this list, okay? Which one of these Bulls do you think are waiting for a phone call? Is Kirk Heinrich going to get a phone call? Could they trade for Joakim Noah or Kyle Korver? Scalabrini coming out? Kurt Thomas? Is what Coach Thibodeau, is he just building a big 3 team? Is that what's happening?
I think of those guys.
Is he going to build a big 3 team?
Well, I go by expectation. And if you look at that list, the one that hopes to get called is Joakim Noah.
Yeah, Joakim Noah.
Like, seriously, I was Defensive Player of the Year. I was All NBA First Team. And you putting that band back together?
So not only is he hiring all the Bulls, he's really committed to this veteran locker room. They worked out Monte Ellis. What's happening, Jalen?
He's a guy that in Golden State was a 20-point scorer. Mm-hmm. Got buckets in Indiana, didn't work out so well. May still have some tread left on the tires. I see why they would bring him in to see what he still has left.
I just don't think that this roster needs to get older. You know what I mean? They've got plenty of veterans. Moving on. Le'Veon Bell, removed from the depth chart for the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, TMZ is reporting Le'Veon Bell spent his Monday night in Miami at the club, and he left that club early Tuesday morning. Was it 1 in the morning? Was it 8 in the morning? Who knows? What does that tell you about where his head is at?
He's getting his normal routine.
That's the weekly routine.
That's what I
Monday
do.
night's the night to go out.
We play football
Sunday
during the week.
Yep.
Have a game on Sunday or Monday. I decompress Monday night, doing whatever I choose to do as an adult. Now, you know I have one rule, and I made sure it wasn't violated in this.
You have a lot of rules.
He didn't fly to the fun because he's already in Miami.
Oh, okay.
So it's one thing if he did like OBJ and the Giants receivers during a week of a playoff game where they need to go to Lambeau where it's going to be cold on Sunday to hang out where it's warm on Monday, have their shirts off and think they're going to go win a football game. That's one thing. He's not reported to the team.
No.
Okay. He's in Miami. Go do what he wants to do.
What else is he going to do? That's fine. He's allowed to have fun.
Go do what he wants to do.
I'm sure he's working out. I'm sure he's ready to go. It is time for the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
There was a man in New Hampshire at the beach enjoying himself, having a day. He was like, you know what? I'm going to get a cheeseburger and French fries. It's my cheat day. I'm at the beach.
Extra crispy fries.
Gets the extra crispy fries, ketchup all over him. I don't know what he was doing. He must have turned his back for a second, maybe getting some napkins or something. Seagull comes.
Beanie? Seagull?
No, not Beanie Seagull. Good point, though. A seagull, the bird, comes.
Shout out to Broad Street Bully.
Steals his cheeseburger. He then makes contact with that seagull with his foot. a bystander reported his behavior, and he was fined $124 American for kicking a seagull.
What?
Don't get fired, Jalen. Should he be fined for kicking a seagull that stole his cheeseburger?
Not at all. First and foremost, a couple of things I want to make sure I get acknowledged.
That we respect all animals and living things on the planet?
No doubt. Yeah. So,
but
you remember when that bat was in the arena and Manu Ginobili?
Yeah.
Knocked it out of the air?
Yeah.
That's what I would have did to the seagull.
Yeah. I just, where do we draw the line? Because then I read the article. I read the article. They're federally protected. So you can swat a fly. You could kill a slug. Manu Ginobili gets celebrated for hitting a bat out of the sky. What, bats aren't cute, I guess. They don't hang out at the beach. So he's not going to get fined. But a seagull that stole your cheeseburger. Jalen, if I was hungry and you stole my cheeseburger, I'm kicking you. Fair. And you're a human being. And I'm not getting fined for it.
Well, there are people that value animals more than humans. I'm not one of them. The line is, he violated me. She violated me. She messed with my cheeseburger.
She took my
messed
cheeseburger.
with my fries. So now you got to deal with the discipline that come with it.
But here's the part that I don't like about this move is he said, I tried to shoo the seagull away with my foot and made contact. Dog, you kicked the seagull. Just admit it.
No.
Don't lie to the cops.
No.
I tried to shoo the seagull away. No, you tried to kick the seagull. Kicked the seagull.
Let's bring to light someone else. The person that took their time and energy to actually call the authorities,
sir,
on a situation like this.
Listen, if
those are the type of people.
If there happened to be police around and then she spoke to him, but if she used the numbers 911 and reported this and made someone get in a car and turn the lights on and drive to the beach for this seagull, and do you know what else this bystander said? That when the seagull flew away, it looked like it was injured. This is too much.
Time on my hands.
So, Jalen, I sit across from you every single day. Sit across the table, and I have to stare at that hairline.
Thank you.
For hours on end. When we go out, the hairline's still there, looking back at me. But sometimes when I brush my teeth at night, I'm looking at my own hairline. It's not the same. Not only is it not the same as yours, not the same as it used to be. I'm creeping in the corners, as Draymond Green would say.
Creep.
66% of men lose their hair by age 35. And when you start to see that it's creeping, like me, it's not too late. It's easier to keep the hair you have than replace the hair that you've lost. So if that hairline is starting to creep a little bit, here's what you do. You use forhims.com. Forhims.com is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skin care, sexual wellness for men. Here's what you can do. Baldness is now optional. If you see it start to creep, or you got that little spot in the back, like Manu Ginobili had, and it just grew and grew and grew, if you see it to start to lose your hair, you go to forhims.com. Because science is different now. Baldness is optional now. For Hims connects you with real doctors with medical-grade solutions to treat your hair loss. There are no snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. This is real prescription solutions backed by science. There's no awkward doctor visit, nothing like that. Just go to forhims.com. It's so easy. You answer a few quick questions, and a doctor will prescribe you the solution to your creeping corners. All products are shipped directly to your door. Here's what you do. You get a free trial month of 4Hims. You get a trial month of 4Hims for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last. Go to the website, forhims.com. Normally, what would cost you hundreds of dollars if you went to the doctor or the pharmacy can save you so much money and save you your hairline if you go to forhims.com/J and J. J-A-N-D-J. That's forhims.com/J-A-N-D-J. It's hard to sit across from that hairline this much as I do. But with forhims.com, perhaps it won't be so hard to look in the mirror. forhims.com/J-A-N-D-J. I'm going to be honest, my hairline's not that bad, y'all. It's not that bad. It's not perfect.
It's really not.
It's not that bad.
It's not.
I'm going to stop clowning myself every time.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I'm as happy as a clam.
Disclaimer. Geico cannot guarantee you will be, quote, as happy as a clam, unquote. The Geico legal team cannot accurately verify clams even experience the complex human emotional state known as happiness. As an invertebrate mollusk living half submerged on the ocean floor, with no arms, legs, or wireless access, what's there to be happy about? A clam's all like, oh, I'm so happy I didn't get turned into New England clam chowder today. Pronounced regionally as chowder. Chowder. Oh, that's so fun to say. What were we talking about again?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Jalen Rose. You know, Kevin Hart has that show where you sit in a cold tub and he just does an interview and talks to people. Well, Isaiah Thomas, not the Bad Boys Isaiah Thomas, was on there. And he said something very interesting when Kevin Hart asked him to list the 5 best point guards in the NBA. Let's listen.
BA, give me your top 5. Top 5 point guards right now.
I'm one. For sure. Steph Curry. This is actually no order. This
no
is just
order?
5. I'm one, though, but no order after that. Steph Curry.
Okay.
Westbrook.
Okay.
John Wall. Damian Lillard.
Steph, Westbrook, Wall.
He went back and forth. He said Steph, Westbrook, Wall, Dame, and then Kevin Hart was like, what about Kyrie? And then he subbed in Kyrie for Dame. It was too long for us to play the whole thing. But when he said I'm one, I first thought he meant I'm one of the 5, but he meant I'm number 1. Saying that you are the best point guard in the NBA when you are clearly not the best point guard in the NBA, soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Ooh, explain, Mr. Rose.
He gets paid millions of dollars to play basketball, and he actually get a chance to compete against these guys. And a couple of seasons ago, he was an all-NBA performer on the number 1 seed.
MVP discussion.
So for him to now feel like he may be on his way out would be sacrilegious. He's being asked a question. He has to put himself in the conversation as a level of confidence because for public consumption, his name and his value has really been diminished over the last couple of years.
Another thing is, if you have to guard these people, do you really want them to know that you think they're better than you? You know, I think you have to have that. Remember, you have to have that mentality that I can play with anybody. I'm better than anybody because it's the National Basketball Association.
No question. He's dealt with a hip injury, got traded to Cleveland, had a lost tape year.
Is he going to start
with the Lakers?
Is he going to start for
now
the Nuggets?
He's in Denver for those that don't know, and they have a terrific young backcourt that he will not start because I always talk about Harris and Murray being terrific backcourt.
I love their young backcourt. All right. Boss move.
Boss move.
Related, very similar, Ian O'Connor tweeted this very interesting statement. Quote, Tom Brady once told an NFL coach, if Aaron Rodgers had Patriots offensive scheme and institutional knowledge on opposing defenses, he'd throw for 7,000 yards every year. He's so much more talented than me. So this is kind of the opposite. Tom Brady, who everyone considers to be the GOAT, saying that Aaron Rodgers is more talented than him. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move, game. Blouses. That's all he doing.
Can you say that again?
Blouses. And if he only had 1, maybe 2 rings, he would never say this.
Oh.
But since he knows that every time people talk about who's the greatest of all time, who's the most accomplished, he knows that he's going to be 1 or 2. And guess who's not? Based on that same criteria. Aaron Rodgers.
And here's the thing:
not yet.
There's a difference between these two and how they're perceived. Isaiah Thomas, you said, like his perception, his value is being diminished, especially in the media and maybe amongst his peers. And then Tom Brady, he doesn't have to say he's the GOAT. You know why not? Because everybody says it for him. So it's interesting. Like you can see just how people play the media and how they perceive their own value. Because sometimes you have to speak for yourself. And sometimes everybody else speaks for you.
And you know the easiest thing to do, and in the media we try to do this a lot, it's put someone in someone else's scenario and think they'll flourish or have more success. That's almost, if you believe that, I'll give you a different line of thinking that maybe helps change that. 2 parents have 3 kids, and they all sometimes have 3 different trajectories. One is great in school. One really struggles. One gets in different lifestyles, makes bad decisions. One stays on the straight and narrow. But they have the same parents, grew up in the same house, and have the same infrastructure. Just because you substitute Aaron Rodgers for Tom Brady, that doesn't mean immediate success.
No.
There could have been some level of dysfunction, some way of not to get it done along the way. It's hard to have a 2-decade relationship that's as successful as Belichick and Tom Brady. This is why nobody else has done it before.
Moving on, the Philadelphia areas had some bad weather. We've had some bad weather in New York, and they're trying to play baseball in Philly. They had a couple rainouts. It was tough. So what did the grounds crew do on a soggy day? They took flamethrowers, Jalen. That's the grounds crew using flamethrowers. Those are flamethrowers on the infield. Soft move or boss move using flamethrowers on the infield.
I need one of them at the crib.
You want a flamethrower at your crib?
No question about it.
You would be too scared to use it. What were you going to do with the flamethrower? Make s'mores?
Intruder.
Trespass. Here's the thing. Okay, fine. We'll get back to the grounds crew. But that flamethrower wouldn't work because I need to see the flames. Like, those flames are so hot you can't see them. The intruder can't see the flames. It's not that intimidating.
True story.
It's not that intimidating.
I think this is a soft move because it shows me that they didn't do their job initially.
Yeah.
And understand that it could be bad weather, in particular rain, and do pre-prep, not post-fake hustle.
I know what happened here. They knew it was going to rain. They got the weather report. This game, they didn't play. So they're sitting there, and they're like, hey, Gary, we got those flamethrowers. And Eric is there like, let's get the flamethrowers out. If you have flamethrowers, might as well use them. Like, if you have flamethrowers in the supply closet and you have an excuse to use them, you break them out.
You just said it. If I had a flamethrower in the supply closet. So it's not crazy for me to want one of those at the house.
Next birthday, Jalen.
Thank you.
I got you. I'm not going to do that. You know that, right? So it's a soft move. Stephon Diggs. We all know who that is. He got a new chain.
4 bracelets.
It's the Starbucks logo. What? He loves Starbucks, and he also says he's open all day, just like Starbucks. Soft move or boss move, getting a corporate logo on a chain.
It can lead to something because he's a successful athlete. So based on planting a seed to create a harvest, boss move. What?
No.
I tried to find all of the reasons to call it a soft move. I did. I tried.
This is a soft
Here's
move.
A couple of things I want to point out to you. I guarantee you he ends up working with that company.
Okay, let me put you on some game. Let me put you on some game.
Okay, cool.
Starbucks is a very successful company. However, doesn't do too much advertising. You ever notice that? They started doing a couple commercials, but they're one of the most successful companies that doesn't really market their product.
Well, they've had some issues across the country.
Oh, they have.
In a couple of different situations.
Yes.
Where people of, I guess, there were minorities were trying to patronize and not necessarily standing in line long enough.
There's been a myriad of issues
and all
with
of
this one corporation,
were called,
which is another reason that maybe you don't want to wear it around your neck all day.
And then all of a sudden they had to close all of the stores for one day to treat them, to show them how to treat people.
I remember that because I wanted some coffee.
Equally.
They were closed.
Okay. And Neil Everett gets on me about this all the time.
He does. He makes me feel bad. When I have my Starbucks, I hide it from Neil.
Yeah. That's my guy. He's been telling me for years. But I don't drink coffee. So it's not a big thing for me. But for Stephon,
soft move.
He rich, man.
It's a soft move.
This is what happens when you get... Did you see what just happened this offseason?
What?
New contract. He got a new deal.
New chain. The second...
You're going to buy some new jewels. Come on, man. I bought a mansion.
I will say this. Sorry, Neil. Earmuffs, Neil. I love the Starbucks app. I am not talking to a Starbucks employee ever again. I'm walking in, I'm grabbing my stuff, and I'm leaving. Jalen Rose, we were discussing Devin Booker's hand surgery, and you made a very astute point about the timing of the surgery. It was after the deal. So he signs the deal, then gets the surgery because you don't want to do that in reverse order. So now there are reports he's going to be out for 6 weeks, missed some camp. And here he is. He posted about it. He said, "Thank you all for the prayers and well wishes. First surgery was a success. Lefty buckets coming soon." First surgery was a success. Jalen, you've had hand surgery. Should Suns fans be concerned that there's more surgery coming?
They shouldn't be concerned that it's going to affect his long-term ability to be a terrific performer on the floor. What they probably should consider, however, he may not be 100% in 6 weeks when the NBA season actually starts. Training camp, preseason. Hopefully he's ready for the regular season. He's a young man. He's a terrific talent. He's played in Phoenix. They had the number 1 pick for a reason. They have that. They're improved. Their roster's improved. He was on a Clearport. flight.
Yep.
He was living his best life.
He was.
Had his shades
People
on.
that fly in private planes always post on Instagram letting you know that they're flying in private planes.
So he didn't seem like he wasn't going to be ready to earn his money to me.
And producer Reggie made a good point. Maybe it was just the first surgery of his life.
Correct.
You know, so maybe it's not this series of hand surgeries coming. That it was just his first surgery.
And I have to say this because what ends up happening in the national media, and rightfully so, you either talk about the most popular franchises or players, or the more successful ones, or the ones that are just absolutely terrible. Devin Booker can ball.
Yeah.
Shoot the three, combination guard, became a better playmaker. He's clutch. Like, I think he's going to start to resonate among casual fans, NBA fans that are diehards or people that cover them. They know. But I'm just like, casual fans, you're going to be places, you'll be like, oh, he rocking that Booker jersey. I see you. I think that's going to happen for him this year because they're going to be a lot better.
So I mentioned that everybody that flies in private planes lets you know that they're flying in private planes. Let's take another look at this picture because I have a conspiracy theory. Is that logo of the private plane photoshopped on there? Because it just doesn't look natural. It might be a monitor in the plane. I totally understand that. I'm just saying, conspiracy theory Jacoby thinks that there was some sort of deal. We give you a free flight. You let everybody know that you're flying the Iron Lady.
Well, no flights are free.
No. Okay.
What ends up happening is they'll work with your time, your hours, and your minutes. If you feel like you're getting a hookup, like when you go to the jewelry store. They always give you whatever you purchase cheaper than the ticket.
The price at a jewelry store, they should just not have it on there. Because it'll be a tiny little diamond and they're like $4 million. But I'll give it to you for $4,000.
I don't care who you are or what you're spending. Somebody just said, he right. Every time you go to the jewelry store, whatever you end up spending is less than what's on the ticket.
It's like 50% of what's on the ticket too. They try to make you feel. And this is one thing. And I don't buy a lot of jewels. I'm not Stephon Diggs or Jalen Rose. But they always act like they're not making money. Like I'm barely making money on this. You're not doing me a favor, dog. I don't know you. You have a jewelry store. You're selling me jewelry. Don't act like you're doing me a favor by charging me $600 for a bracelet.
It becomes like a bodega or a used car transaction. It's like it becomes like a negotiation.
Yeah, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So Devin living his best life.
Good for him.
I thought what you were going to ask me as a conspiracy theory is, did I think he was on the plane alone? Because where I was going with this is,
no one flies a private plane alone.
Correct.
No one does.
Where are you with the singular post, yet other people are actually with you?
Someone's taking the picture. You never, and sometimes those people are strategically not photoed. Let's move on before we get in trouble. Kyrie Irving. A little bit of news from him. He's in the Boston area, known for education, universities. He's taking a Harvard University business class. The class is called Crossover into Business, and it is supposed to help athletes make business decisions. They get paired with, some business people or business students, and it's supposed to prepare them for that sort of life off the court. What does that tell you about Kyrie and where he's at?
Genius move.
Whoa, I like this.
This is something that I wish athletes who went to college can actually allow sports to be their major, to teach you how to work in sports. There are so many jobs other than the people you see in uniform that have long careers working in sports and or media and or medicine that you probably don't know those jobs exist. And so for him to take a business class, number one, is brilliant sacrifice and is great diligence as somebody to now hopefully set a trend for others to follow. But also, when you now say Harvard, it eliminates anybody questioning how smart you are.
Because this is what I think this is.
It eliminates anybody that want to question how smart you are.
The flat earth thing. Everybody's talking about the flat earth thing. Is clown a lot for the flat earth thing. He thinks the earth is flat. He's like, I went to Harvard, dog. I went to Harvard. And also, it's probably 2 hours a week.
You ready for this?
What?
You don't even have to finish.
Oh, no.
The fans in the media are low-hanging fruit.
We're already running with it.
It's a right now industry. Everybody's going to run with it from now on. Terrific.
Oh, watch this.
All NBA level basketball champion player of the Boston Celtics, and he is attending Harvard.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
So you heard it on our show first.
No, this is what you heard first. You will see Kyrie Irving in a Harvard sweatshirt
Of course.
In the next 4 weeks.
No doubt.
If these people that go to Harvard, they let you know they went to Harvard. You could be 60 years old. You haven't been in Cambridge for 40 years, still wearing a Harvard sweatshirt. That's why one complaint about people that go to Harvard, they put it in your face. I get it. You went to Harvard. You don't have to wear the sweatshirt. You don't have to tell me in every conversation. You don't have to put the sticker on your car. You went to Harvard.
It ain't just Harvard. It's all of the Ivy League schools and the Ivy League school of the Midwest, Michigan. We do that too.
Moving on. Serena Williams and scandal from Saturday night. Still in the news cycle. Here we are, Wednesday, 5 days later. And now it's the umpires clapping back. Richard Ings, who is an elite gold badge umpire. I don't know what that means. He said this quote, "The umpire fraternity is thoroughly disturbed at being abandoned by the WTA. They are fearful that they could be the next Ramos. They feel that no one has their back when they have to make unpopular calls." Jalen Rose, is it fair for Richard Ings to say that the umpires have been treated unfairly?
They're being too sensitive. And at some point, you got to let it go.
It's your job.
The situation happened.
This is your job.
But here's the thing. The situation already happened. So there's no changing it, number one. So for you to now continue to foster the conversation isn't good for your sport, especially when it's an adversarial position against the greatest person to ever participate in it.
In the sport. Let me tell you something. I want to pull Richard aside. I want to be like, Richard, let me tell you something, man. I know this seems like a big deal right now, Richard. I know this feels like everything right now, Richard. But you know what? Come Wimbledon next year, people have already forgotten this happened. Also, this isn't the first time this happened to Serena at the U.S. Open. We don't remember the last time that she did it. This is 2018, Richard. This is gone. Stop bringing this back up. And you guys are going to be okay. Guess what? You're an umpire. You make unpopular calls. It's what you do for a living. You chose this life. No one says great job making good calls.
And let me tell you 3 layers of women you don't want to get upset at you.
Don't get fired.
Your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Or any woman in your family.
Okay.
Your wife.
Do we have to go to break before you finish this?
And a sister.
Okay.
Serena was upset.
Yes.
And I like how she handled it. So let me get this right.
She was articulate.
But hold on, let me get this right.
She was calm. She didn't curse.
So now the greatest player in the history of tennis gets upset at an umpire and calls the umpire a thief. Now all of a sudden the umpires want to boycott?
Yeah, now they're going to unionize.
What about
and they're going to boycott Serena's matches?
Of the people, men or women, that have berated them. They've never taken this level of action.
No.
Why now?
You know what? Sometimes the best piece of advice is this. Just do nothing. This is all going to go away, everybody. This is all going to go away.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
All right, Jalen Rose, you know how this works. Not everything is worth discussing. So, if you want to talk about it, we hit the brakes. If you don't, we keep it moving. Are you ready?
We're not going to only talk about the games that happen on Sunday?
No, we're not.
Wednesday?
We're done with those games. We're done with those games.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
LeBron James.
Hit the brakes.
And Spring Hill.
Hit the brakes.
Is producing another television show. Another television show. This time, NBC has given a script commitment. This isn't they greenlit the series. You know how this works now, Jalen. This isn't we're going to shoot a pilot. They're just committed to seeing a script of a show called Brotherly Love. And it is about Clutch Sports client Ben Simmons and his brother and his multi-ethnic family and moving to Philadelphia. What do you think about LeBron James and Spring Hill producing yet another TV show?
I support it. As somebody that has his own production companies, produce projects for this very network, I appreciate the fact that LeBron James continues to reinvent himself. Basketball isn't forever. He has a talented team around him. He has a varied interest. These projects bring you behind the curtain on a lot of topics. I've seen that with his HBO special. I'm going to see that on Ben Simmons, who's somebody who doesn't talk a lot.
No.
We found out over the summer who he was dating. But other than that,
that ran its course.
But other than that, it'd be good to see how he was able to make the transition as somebody, as you mentioned, to be an elite basketball
One thing
player.
I want to make clear is People act like, oh, LeBron's gone Hollywood. LeBron's spending too much time on this and not basketball. LeBron James isn't writing the script. I don't think he's even in the meeting. Like,
he's editing.
This is like Maverick and a whole staff of people. Like, this is not LeBron James doing this. LeBron James is getting buckets. It's the people around him and the Spring Hill Entertainment Company, the ones that are doing this. But they've got a roster. This is off the dome. I don't know if I'm going to miss some. Like The Wall, that's theirs. The Survivor's Remorse, that's theirs. The Shop on HBO, that's theirs. He's in that animated movie, Littlefoot, that my son wants to see. And there's that movie that he's pitching. There's Space Jam. Like, they've got projects. Come hire me, Mav.
I got work to do.
Your production company's not popping.
I gotta get because I thought Jalen versus everybody would be popping for a while.
Jalen versus everybody was hot.
Some more. We gotta do some more.
Half hour.
Yeah,
it was a hot half hour.
It was trending. Number one.
Shout to Fake Jacoby.
Shout to Nashka Khan and Melvin.
Shout out.
All 7 of the new NFL head coaches lost their first game. Keep moving or hit the break.
I told you at the beginning, keep it moving.
Okay.
We're going to regurgitate these same topics for 6 days a week.
The Jets say that they knew the Lions' plays.
Mike Greenberg has been unbearable with this. Hit the brakes.
Okay. Linebacker Darren Lee, who returned one of Matt Stafford's many interceptions for a touchdown, said, quote, "We were calling out their plays as he was getting up to the line. We knew his signals. We knew everything. It just seemed like we were in his head as a defense." Now, Matt Patricia, with the pencil and the backwards hat, has gone out and said, "Hey, this is just part of the game. People know where he runs. There's film. This is nothing. Something or nothing." The fact that Darren Lee's saying we knew what they were going to do before they did it.
Well, let me tell you why something.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm pretty sure right after that game, the Detroit Lions brass and their coaching staff was like, we got to make some changes.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that means it's something.
It's something.
Okay.
When there's 4 interceptions.
You can't just flat out ignore it because that's not intelligent. But as a Lion fan, the disappointing thing for me is that I was hoping hiring a defensive coordinator is going to stop the Jets from scoring 48 points in the first game. Now, I know they got a defensive touchdown. I know they got a special teams touchdown. But at the same time, Matthew Stafford looked like the rookie quarterback, and Darnold looked like the 10-year veteran.
Sure did. Moving on, the Orlando Magic's Jonathan Isaac says he wants more abstinence education.
Oh, we're going to keep it moving.
Okay, we'll keep it moving.
But I'm proud of you, young fella.
Yeah, sure.
Make good decisions.
Sure.
I'm proud of you, young fella. That's so much maturity. I love
Halle
him for that.
Berry is making her directorial debut in a movie about MMA. Keep it moving or hit the brakes. You're married now.
Keep it moving.
Okay.
Jacoby moving, you know we keep it moving.
Oscar De La Hoya is considering, wait for it, running for president. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
You see what y'all done started?
Just keep moving or hit the brakes.
You see what y'all done started?
Keep moving or hit the brakes.
That's all I gotta say. Y'all,
moving
50% of the world, y'all see what y'all done started? Keep it moving.
Okay.
Please. Y'all see what y'all done started?
You know we keep it moving up.
I love that Method Man's on our show.
How about that?
I love it. Shout out to him. I think his real name is Clifford.
Shout out.
A photo of the world's greatest Uber has hit the internet. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
I'm going to take an Uber today. Hit the brakes.
Okay, we complain about Uber a lot on this program, so we have to shine some light on the brilliant Uber driver. First of all, this is from the Reddit user Flimsy Fresh. He posted this Uber. They play NBA Jam. He got NBA Jam set up in the back of the Uber so you can play NBA Jam while you're in traffic or while you're going to your destination. Jalen Rose. This isn't an Uber X. Now, I know you are Uber Black SUV guy. Would you take an Uber X if you knew NBA Jam was in the back?
I would take any vehicle that had bells and whistles. I never figured why, if you're driving a vehicle for a living, you don't invest more in your ride.
Yeah, you know the ones that have magazines and candies and lights?
It would smell good.
Aux cables.
I would have magazines.
Snacks.
I would have a little monitor back there that allows you to watch Netflix.
Anything you need.
Watch live TV.
You know, it's 5 stars. That's tips.
Because forget 5 stars. You now have personal clients that'll hit you up.
Yes.
So everybody that's out there listening, invest in your vehicle. I know I don't have to tell you this because you're doing it for a living, or people that want to do this for a living.
Bells and whistles are nice.
Add the bells and whistles.
We like amenities.
And don't talk too much.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Don't talk too much to the client.
Jalen, football season is finally underway. And you know what that means? Fantasy football. And you're in a big league. And by big, I mean you spent a lot of money in your league. And who did you draft first in that big league?
Unfortunately, Le'Veon Bell, who hasn't reported to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, guess what? On FanDuel, you can draft a new team every single week. Plus, FanDuel has never been more fun or easier to play. If you're not a fantasy expert, FanDuel is clearly the place to play. Because FanDuel has something for everybody, and there are more ways to win than ever before. They've got a new tool called Guru that helps you pick your lineups. So you can make smarter picks and feel more confident when you go into game day. They've made it easier to find your friends and to challenge them to play head-to-head contests for cash or for bragging rights. So me and you, Jalen, can go head-to-head for cash.
But the problem is when your team starts to struggle, you stop updating your roster.
Not FanDuel, you get a new team every single week. So I'll update my FanDuel every single week. Let's go head-to-head. Here's the thing. I love playing FanDuel because, as Jalen mentioned, I'm not a good fantasy GM. I know this about myself. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. So instead of being stuck with a bad team all season, with FanDuel, I get a new contest every single week. And here's the thing. If you're new to FanDuel, first, weird, but you get a $20 bonus when you make your first deposit on FanDuel. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Jalen. FanDuel.com/Jalen. Especially if you're like me and Jalen. Jalen, good fantasy GM. Just Le'Veon Bell's not playing. Jacoby, bad fantasy GM. But with FanDuel, I can draft a new team every single week. Because let's be honest, the best part about fantasy is drafting. And with FanDuel, you can draft every single week. Go to FanDuel.com/Jalen. Aaron Rodgers spoke with another duo at ESPN, LeBatard and my man Stugotz.
What up, though?
One of my favorite shows.
I love them. Miami in the building.
World.
Shout
not
to
just
Poppy.
in sports.
Shout out.
And Aaron Rodgers said that he was going to take it a day at a time. He was not committed to playing next Sunday the same way he was last Sunday. So let's imagine that Aaron Rodgers can go, but he's not 100% healthy. Remember, they're playing the Vikings. They have a great defense. Should the Packers play Aaron Rodgers if he's not 100%, but he's ready to go?
Let me break some news. You're going to see this at the bottom of the ticker this week.
Okay.
Just my opinion.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers ain't playing this Sunday.
Ooh.
Are you kidding me? They just gave him over $100 million, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
He's the face of the franchise. Oh, and by the way, he's probably the most talented quarterback that's ever played the position.
According to Tom Brady, he is. Also, he missed a lot of games last year, and that did not help the Packers.
So you mean to tell me you get a chance to get a heroic win? He throws 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter at the Bears, something he hadn't done because he was relegated to stand in the pocket because he was injured. And now you're going to send him out there like a bird without wings against the Minnesota Vikings, who, by the way, injured him last year. And as a division opponent, you do not play him against that stout defense if he's going to be limited 1%. You're going to see it at the bottom of the ticker. Aaron Rodgers out. Take him out of your fantasy league this week. Out. He's not going to play. No way.
Really?
Correct.
So we should pick up Deshaun Kaiser is what you're saying.
I'm saying pick up somebody because Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be available.
Aaron Rodgers is not going to play.
I'll tell you who you don't pick up.
But he played.
Don't pick up Nathan Peterman.
No one is. But he played, 4 or 5 days ago, led the team back, and he's got all that time to recuperate and recover. What if he's not going to be 100%? But what if he's mobile? What if he can go? Like, there's a line.
See, you and I watch games, and so it's okay for you to make that distinction. But there are so many people who watch highlights or watch the stats. Those 3 touchdowns wasn't because he was scrambling and moving out of the pocket.
He wasn't creating time.
He was not buying time, and that's one of the things that makes him special. So if he's not going to be 150%,
you need to buy some time.
I don't put him out there because the Vikings have a stout D.
If they were playing a different team, I might feel differently, but I agree with you. Moving on. Boogie Cousins and Draymond Green are teammates. They're teammates. They hang out together. And Draymond Green was over Boogie's house.
I love this so much.
And let's just see what Draymond and Boogie were up to. That's Draymond Green working with some pool equipment. So he's trying to get the pole, and now he's cleaning Boogie's pool, but he doesn't have the pole. Right? So here's my question for you. I got a lot of questions. Number one, how dirty was Boogie's pool in the first place? Why can't Draymond Green get the right pole attached to the net to clean it? Why would he even bother cleaning it without the pole? It's not going to be that effective. And why doesn't Boogie have a bigger pool?
I love this so much. Number one, Boogie is from Alabama, made himself into an NBA star. Now, arguably one of the most talented big men in the league, who's scored more points than any player currently, never to participate in the playoffs.
What about the pool, Jalen?
And Draymond Green living his best life. I'm going to get there. Not only was he a veteran trying to help his young boy out, he realized he couldn't put the pole into the net, but you got to not overlook what he was wearing. Team issued T-shirt. That's what happens when you win 3 of the last 4 championships.
Team issue gear.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Boogie's pool will be bigger after this season when he get a max deal and he gets another championship. When he gets a championship on his resume.
Where's he going to get the max deal? We'll see. We'll see. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow. Why is that?
We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.